Hi, my name's David McCann for WebTNG, and in this screencast, I'm going to look at creating WordPress custom templates using Beaver Themer versus Toolset. If you've worked with custom post types and custom fields in WordPress, you know that while WordPress supports it, there's no GUI for creating and managing the custom fields and custom post types, and that if you want to output your custom data, your custom content on the front end, by default you have to create some PHP theme templates. For a long time, Toolset was one of the only choices for creating the content templates in the back end using a GUI. But in the past year, Beaver Themer has come out. And so I thought it would be interesting to look at the same type of process using the two different tools. So let's get started. So what I want to do first is look at creating custom templates with Beaver Themer. And I have a test site here. I'm using the Astra theme, and I have Beaver Builder and Beaver Themer installed. The test site has a lot of demo data, and one thing it has is a custom post type called books, and this is the default archive for books. And you can see, because it's using these book covers as the featured image, it doesn't quite look right. The theme is expecting by default a landscape featured image. So what I want to do is move the image over to the left and add some post meta here. And then that's on the archive, and then on the single page I've got information about the book that's not showing that I want to show. For instance, well, it's not showing the post meta. It's not showing the rating, the review rating. There's a genre and an audience suggested for the book. There's an Amazon link. And the same is true here also, that the image doesn't look right because the theme is expecting kind of more of a banner image. So to get started, I'm going to go into the Builder Themer Layouts and add new. And we'll make the archive first. And we have to tell it what kind of layout we're going to make. So we're making an archive. And then we choose the location, Book Archive. And I'm going to click Publish and save what we've got, and then launch the builder. This is what it gives us here by default, which isn't even close to what I want. So I'm just going to delete these things. And I'm going to add 2 rows here. On the right, I'm going to put the sidebar. And I'll size that down. And on the left, I want to put the posts module. Okay, so I don't want posts, I want books, and I want to order it by date. Okay, so we get the newest review first, and I want a list with Let's see. Here we are with the image to the left, and I want a medium-sized image. That looks pretty good. We've got some navigation here automatically. I like that. Let's save it. And boom, we're done. You know, we could tweak things a little bit. We could make the title a little bit smaller so it doesn't wrap in things. We could make the image a little smaller. But you get the idea. Let's go ahead and work on the single themer layout. Choosing that we're making the singular. And then for location, I want a book. So I save that and launch the builder. Now here we can see by default it's taken the feature image and made it a background banner, which in many cases would be pretty nice, but doesn't quite work for us here. So let's get rid of some of this stuff. And I'm going to put in a 3-column row. Again, I'm going to put in a sidebar here. Size that down. And then do the photo, the featured image, on the left. Now, Beaver Themer, when you have it installed, you have these little plus buttons, icons here, for linking the content for your template. So I'm going to put in the featured image, select medium, and that's good. And now let's put in a headline module. I'm going to start by getting rid of a little extra padding. And we're going to put in now then the post title. And you see there's the option with some of these to do connect or insert. So connect is what we did for the featured image. It just, you know, that's it. But with insert, it goes into a text editor, so you could add some text or even some more fields. But for this one, I think we can just do connect. And maybe make the font size just a little different here. Let's try 30. Maybe that's too big. 28. Too big still. I think I'm going to go with 28. And I'm going to get this down so it fits there. That looks good. Now let's put in our meta. And I'm going to do one row here. And put in a text module. I'm going to get rid of some of the extra padding. And now let's put in the post date. And here I'm going to use this insert functionality. The default format's good. And see here now we can go into the text editor and enter several fields together. And let's do the author. Make that a link. That's good. I'm gonna put some text here and say bye. And now I've got a short code for the author rating. And lastly, we'll enter the number of comments. Good. All right, I'm going to change this. I think it needs to be left aligned, huh? Oh, it is left aligned. Ah, that's what I did wrong. There we go. Now we're ready for the content, and I'm just going to drag it up from here, but you would insert it the same way. Good. And let's add a few fields here. We have the format reviewed, and that's a custom field. Here we go. And so I think that's, yeah, there it is. That's a types custom field. And again, you can set these margins, defaults. I haven't done that. Okay, now I want to do the genre. So let's do audience first. Good. And now genre. Good. And now our Amazon link. Now I wonder if I can use a button here. Yeah. So we're gonna do and it's a custom field, and there we go. And well, that didn't work. I think I've got it in the wrong place here. Here we go, link. Great. Okay. We've got a few other fields I'm just gonna drag up here. Don't need that. Okay, that's pretty good. Now let's go to the front end and take a look. So here's our archive, and here's our single image. And yeah, we could obviously spend more time on this, but I wanted to give you the idea of how it works. So that was pretty quick and pretty easy, and I liked how it turned out. So here is another test site. This one I have Toolset installed, and I want to do the same thing, that is create the content templates for the custom post type books. I have the same demo data here. I'm using the Astra theme again. You can see the same thing. We have the featured image here. It's kind of looking for a banner image, but we have the book covers. We don't have the meta. So it's the same exercise here using Toolset. So let's get started with that. We'll go to here to WordPress archives. We want to create the book archive first. And with Toolset, there are actually several ways of creating these content templates. I'm going to use kind of my favorite way, which I think is the easiest, which is to use Beaver Builder with it. So here I'm creating, I'm telling it which post type I'm creating the archive for. And now we go into a screen, and it's got that checked, and it's going to order them by post date, which is what we wanted. It's going to have pagination there. And now, like I said, there's several different ways of actually doing this with Toolset. And if you use the loop wizard, you're going to choose the fields, and then you can put styling around them. But I'm going to skip the wizard because I want to go right to creating the content template with Beaver Builder. Now, one thing I've learned is you have to put your cursor right here when you create the content template so that it'll save the shortcode there. And there it is. Now, this is where we create the content template. And there's a pop-up here where we can choose the fields that we would want to use. And we can add HTML here to do our formatting. But like I said, I want to use Beaver Builder. So I'm going to start out, I'm going to save this before we go on. And now launch the Beaver Builder. So I'm doing the archive for books, and some reason this isn't checked. But so I'm going to go ahead and check that and save it. And now I'm going to launch the builder. And this is what we have here. And something with Toolset here is it works with the theme. Astra and Toolset work well together. So I'm going to do a 2-column here, and I'll add the image on the left, and I want the medium size. And I'll size that down some. And now I'm going to put in the title with a link. And I think I'll put some heading tags there with that. Let's try that. And now we're going to do the meta. And you see it's a very similar process here. We're going to pick the field, so let's start with the date. And now the author. And we'll add the number of comments there. Good. And now let's put in the excerpt. I think I want words. Let's save that and check it out and see how it looks. Now we're on this, it popped up into another screen, another tab here. So I'm going to close this, and there's nothing to save here. So I'm going to go here and look at books and see how it looks. Pretty good, except for my tags here. Let's go back and fix that. Not sure why that's being rendered like that, so let me try saving it here. And we'll go check it out. It's a little better. Looks like it could make it smaller, but you get the idea. That was pretty easy. So now let's do the content for the single book. So I'm going to click on Content Templates. And we created the template for the book archive. Let's now do book single. Okay, and again you have the same kind of editor, but I'm going to edit with Page Builder. And you see it's checked here now. Okay, and I'm going to do a 2-column layout. And I'm going to put the featured image here. On the left side. We'll shrink that down some. And here we're just now entering just the short codes now. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. Yeah, I think I guess I really should set this as a default, huh? Yeah, if that's what I'm going to be doing. A row for the post meta. Again, we're just going to insert the date, put the author, put in the shortcode for the rating, and the number of comments. Save that. And now we'll put in the content. And now we need to enter the comments section. Actually, I think that Toolset's going to do that for us. So let's cancel this. And let's save it and see what it looks like. Okay, so this is all saved. How close are we to being done here? Oops. Okay, so we see one problem here is we have a duplicate title and featured image. But yes, the theme Toolset works with the theme, so we've got our comments here. So let's remove these, and this is a nice option here. We'll go in and turn off the featured image and the extra title. And you know, I think we could have done that also by, if we didn't want to do it site-wide, I think we could have done it for the content template. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, see, we could have done it just for the content template for this book template here. This is one of the theme integrations that Toolset has with Astra. Okay, so that was pretty easy and very similar to the process that we went through with Themer. So in conclusion, and looking at Beaver Themer versus Toolset, in the comparison there are a few things I noticed. The first is that the process is very similar with both tools. One reason for that is because I'm using Beaver Builder with both, but more to the point, In both cases, when creating the templates, I'm inserting the fields and shortcodes. The second thing I noticed is that Beaver Themer is easier to use and the interface is more streamlined. Maybe that's not surprising because it's newer. On the other hand, Toolset's been around for a while and it has more features and handles more use cases. But not surprisingly, it's also a little more complicated. In my experience, they're both great products and have great teams behind them.